Green light districts and the law and profits of the internet. October 24th, 2025. Earlier in the week, OpenAI let the congregation know that it's going to put all the force of its due diligence behind the concept of age gating appropriate content for its products, so that children aren't exposed or affected by things above their grasps as minors. Oh, and a green light to erotic content just in time for Christmas. Now, some of us saw this coming when the first image generator showed up after the chatbots, and we noticed that because we had danced with similar online demons before. We have a testimony in Christ that involved former devotion to the internet's deities and was spent entirely too much time dealing with the implications of Rule 34 on the internet than most of our tech-savvy online pastor brethren. Now, so you don't go searching for what Rule 34 is, I'll quote it for you. If it exists on the internet, there is pornography of it on the internet. You would think that given the trite and abrasive nature of the rule, that it must be a farce between the weird and toxic realms of 4chan and Reddit, and you would be right, save for the farce bit. This is not a joke. It is one of the most true things you will encounter on the internet, and it would behoove me to remind you that the internet is where AI gets its lifeblood from, its users. AI is not being pitched to Amish farmers and African tribesmen in Kenya. It's being pitched to the online they access it. It's being pitched to people online. They access it online and will treat it like an online thing that follows the rules of the internet. And while it's online, it's only a problem for people who need screens to survive and who do things on those screens. We're not actually creating sexual deviancy. We're creating images and videos of sexual deviancy, which is a different kind of thing. And only people who have been saved from the sins of online pornography will be able to see that. Because Rule 34 used to only exist online. And now it has a narrow but very real way to begin its existence in real time and space. No longer tied to the communal communication of the web, it will have agents and operators in the real world. The same kind of people making AIs that are tacitly pornographic are the people making those agents and robots. The Optimus robot and Annie, the grok anime waifu of Twitter, still not calling it X, come from the same place and person. Twitter used to only be a place where 140 characters could be printed in digital ink for all the world to see, and now it's the discernment and sexual downfall of swaths of men who didn't see the trap baiting their appetites when Elon changed the name to X. And for this moment in time, the robots we see are vaguely humanoid and monochrome, sleek but not sexy. No one wants to have sex with them, and they're not being made, sent, or programmed to have sex back. They don't even have those parts, not that that would stop anyone. But what they do have is an unbreakable connection to the internet that has to be there for them to be functional. If you don't know how the internet works, you will not be able to predict what the embodiments of the internet will do in the real world. There's a reason sex sells. It's among our most basic instincts and drives as humans. It's also the first commandment we're ever given, something even sin did not take away from us when our first parents fell from grace. And God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and the fowl over the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." Genesis 1:28. King James Version. And when you look at every piece of tech like a quasi-neutral tool that requires human input to be good or evil, you can find yourself in a place where you have no category for dealing with the evil found in those places. If sex can sell just about everything, then you should be highly suspicious of anything not trying to use sex to sell it. There are moral and ethical ways to own a muscle car that a car dealership would use tits as advertisements for, but a robot that took away the non-sexual aspects of driving by giving you an autopilot is now aiming for the home. What does a man have when he holds the wheel and gear shifter of a car whose movements are entirely under his control? The word you're looking for there is dominion, and it's exercised over beasts of the field, horses, and 5-speed Mustangs all the same. What does the Tesla Model Y driver exercise when the autopilot does the same thing? The word you're looking for here will just make you blush a bit, I imagine, but it's the same kind of word that will be needed to let that same kind of robotic oversight into the home. A robot to do the dishes and fold the laundry and mind the children has a very specific gender it replaces, and so does the robot that stands watchful over the house at night, changes the oil in the Model Y, and does the taxes. When you put the humans that used to do those kind of things without competition together, what do you get? Well, you usually get babies. And what do you get when you put the robots who replace those gendered roles together? Likely a wife with her happy programmable robot husband, and a husband happy with his customizable robot wife. There's no need to have robots in the home unless you need a way to stop babies from entering the same homes. That's where this is headed. As sure as pictures of any given movie star could be faked into porn via OpenAI's Sora once the guardrails come off, the only reason you want less children in the home is because of what children are. Every single one, every time they're born, is one more soul that worships God. And these robots amount to exactly what porn is: sex with no children on a long enough timeline. Because every role we task them with would have been a mother's or father's, it will replace a mother and father in due time. Mothers and fathers aren't just supposed to have sex, they're commanded to do such. Be fruitful. Being fruitful is a distinctly human thing because we can't copulate with these things that bear our images, and purpose of a system is what it does. So when these things start doing the other things that mothers and fathers are supposed to do, as if it was an optional part of having sex as commanded, well, that's exactly what's being replaced. Then what is exactly being replaced, if not purpose? Christians do not get to have sex with each other without behavioral righteousness that models their relationship with God. The wife respects and obeys her husband like she would Christ, and the husband loves and serves his wife like Christ would the church. Ephesians 5:25-29. But a robot will begin serving the husband like the wife doesn't, and vice versa, only because it was allowed into home as if it were an appliance. There's no obligation to act Christ-like or Christian to the humans it serves as a spouse. The oversized hockey puck that currently vacuums the home devotedly does not do so to make sure that the husband and wife have more time to be fruitful. It does so to turn a profit on the opportunity to model a church's right and righteous relationship with Christ. And it so does and will every humanoid robot that's headed your way. Perhaps that's why all these androids look the same. They're sleek, black, white, silver bodies, human proportions and movement perfected ad nauseum. In order for camouflage to work, everything has to blend in. You would never want something as bright as a red light to stick out. You might get the wrong impression of what goes on inside.